regular meeting of the town council. Thank you for your indulgence. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, but we'll make up time during the flight, as the captain would tell you. Noticing that we have our full complement of chiefs in the room. Chief, good to see you. Chief, good to see you. Chief, good to see you. We are good to go. So, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Peter Talbot.
Here.
Don Walsh.
Here.
Dave Felber.
Here.
Fiona Pearson.
Here.
Trish Kramer. Here. Greg Wolf.
Here.
Jim Jenks. Lou Tedisco.
Here.
And Deb Nate. Here. Quorum is present.
Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We begin tonight with public communications, and we have, we're very happy to have Kate Glendon with us again this evening. Kate, if you would come up to the podium. And I'll do my public apology because I need to get back to you and give you a date where we can get together. So I'm still trying to finagle that, but I appreciate you being patient with me. But with that, the floor is yours, and we're anxious to hear the update.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. So I'm here to talk about what Chesapeake has done since I was last here in November. We have eased into our new building located on 1187 Highland Ave. If you have not visited yet, please come. It's beautiful. We are fully now staffed with 2 front admin, a full sanitarian team, and the remaining positions that have always been there. So the team is very cohesive and very active out in the community. We've been very busy during the flu season. From November through January, our clinical services were able to provide 100 flu vaccines. We are now working through a new partnership with Cheshire Academy to give them routine childhood immunizations, which is the first time for Chesapeake. And we're holding monthly blood pressure screenings at the Cheshire Senior Center. And we average about 14 residents per visit, as well as we did a little education at the Cheshire YMCA to remind the little ones how to wash their hands properly at the preschools, and that was about 45 students. So we are monitoring our diseases regularly. We are seeing the usual uptick right now with flu, norovirus, and COVID, and we're on top of that. The district has also completed successfully 2 financial audits. We have secured new financial accounting, internal controls, and updated some of our new standard financial operating procedures. Staff has received new trainings. We've revised our district website and increased our collaborations among town departments. So we're very pleased with that. Among that, we are staying engaged in the community by attending all wellness fairs, participation in councils, and whatnot. We stay focused at our Elam Park community by doing diabetes prevention, blood pressure screenings as well, and of course our winter wellness talks to keep everyone safe. We've done Radon awareness outreach, which January was Radon Awareness Month. We still have about 40 free kits left at the office that you can come pick up. We are launching a new program among all the districts, but specifically in Cheshire, we did have a Steps to Safety program. So thank you, Cheshire Fire Department, where they gave a talk to the seniors as well. We also are now in the moment of updating our community health assessment. So that helps us see where the Cheshire is, as well as Wolcott and Prospect, what our community needs are, so then we can further development the interventions or programs that the community might need. And then again, we have continued working on our town's emergency preparedness plan as in case of any emergency has happened, had worked with the town for the January's big snowstorm, and we sent out a YouTube refresher on the CPR for Heart Month and received at least 32 hits on that, which is very exciting because among all the health districts, there is a little kind of competition going on, so we rank top 3 right now. So I will send that link out. But we are very busy in the environmental team world, because we do have a lot of new establishments coming in and a lot of new building projects going on. And so we are focused on making sure those are done, serving the public at the best that we can. So we're happy that everything has launched successfully over down by 691. Those are kind of the main updates going on at Chespercott right now. We are looking to enhance our clinical services, our community outreach as well, and our environmental team services are on track.
Excellent. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it. Can you give us a sense, we're in cold, flu, COVID. South of us, we have south of us meaning South Carolina, there's a major measles outbreak. Can you kind of give us a state of the state, or if you can boil it down to the district as to how we're doing with some of these,
Sure.
things
Right
that
now,
are going around?
when measles became into Connecticut, when the exposure did occur, the district was not impacted as far as that we know. As of right now, we still remain safe, and something that we have our eye on and are watching. If we were to have an exposure, Chespercott is ready to take that on, and we do have emergency protocol for that as well. So we would alert you as soon as that. So keeping an eye on that. But right now, we're seeing a lot of noro, flu A, and COVID. So once we hit the end of February, usually is when we go into flu B. So the vaccines are working if you are taking them to decrease your symptoms.
Okay. I'll turn it over to my colleagues for questions. You may get off easy tonight.
Thank you.
Kate, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next on the agenda is public comment. If there's anyone from the public that would like to speak, please come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and you've got 3 minutes.
Joe Bandersky, 153 Lancaster Way. I was here about 6 months ago, but I didn't get to speak because you had the problem with the dog warden and that problem, so I just left. It has to do with taxes. 2 years ago, I got my tax bill, reval. I figured it went up $500. I figured, well, that was, I figured my house went up a lot more money. This past year, I got my tax bill. It went up $800. So I'm figuring, what's the problem here, right? So I called Mr. Martelli, Mr. Kimball, and Mr. Daly up about this problem. Now, I thought everything had to go through a referendum, a certain amount of money, and I thought maybe it went through that process. But I was told that it never went through that process, a referendum about doing all that down Stonebridge, all the plumbing, electric, highway work, whatever had to be done. I was told that never went through that process. But I was told that the reason they want to be 800 hours is because down Stonebridge, where those condos are, and all these other projects going on Route 10, that we're paying them back the money for the work they did. Now, if that's the case, I think that's kind of a little underhanded to me. Because if they're going to put property, they're going to put on it, they should have to pay for their own properties, not the taxpayer. I moved here over 30 years ago. Nobody gave me a break. Nobody gave me anything. And I found out it's not just going to be 1 year. It's like 6, 7 years that these people are getting a breakdown there. So I don't know how older adults are going to afford this town. I know there is a breaker there, but it's so low. Even if they get a pension, they got about $100,000 pension, pay their house taxes. So I like a few answers on that.
So the first, I'll take them one at a time and then fill me in, and I may call on others to just keep me honest. The first thing you talked about was Stonebridge. So there was established back in the, trying to think of when it would have been, the 20-teens probably, what was called a TIF district, tax incremental financing district. So the purpose of that was to reimburse the developer for infrastructure that was put into that area, connecting to sewer, connecting to water lines. So that was a large number that the developer paid for up front, and then over time gets paid back in tax collected revenue.
Does that come in a vote for anybody or anything like that? That you just do it, doesn't come in a town vote for anything like that? You just make that decision?
And either one.
Yeah.
The TIF district creation was approved by the town council after a public hearing.
But are you talking about the creation of the district or the fact that the infrastructure, when the district was approved, it allowed for exactly what is happening now and didn't require any further public hearings or referendum or any of that?
Well, I heard it before. I've been here over 30 years. I worked corrections 25, so about 60 years. All you wanted to do is build that section of town up for the grand list. Now we're building up the grand list, and my taxes are going to be $800. That doesn't seem right to me. I know we have new school, we have things, but that doesn't seem correct to me. That's the way it should be done, if you're going to have it.
And really, the TIF district is not a drain on tax revenue, even though money is being set aside that's collected in a 75% to 25%, 75 into an account that will pay back the developer, 25 is in an account that the town council has access to and can use, which we likely will do this year.
Where is the money come from then? If you say it's not that, but who's giving you the money to
It
pay them back?
As I said, it comes from tax revenue.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I think it's, and that's gonna be for the next 5, 6 years, something like that? They have this, tips thing going on?
It'll be less than that, and by that time, that will be more than offset with the increased revenue that we'll get from the properties that are there.
Is that including the rental property and the condos down there? That
Yes.
involving the tip?
Yes. Well,
I wish I got a break like that when I bought the house.
well, let's be clear. It was to bring sewer and water to the north end. There was nothing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, there was nothing that brought it to a specific apartment building and said, okay, now you're hooked up.
Yeah, I just think an important clarification too is it's effectively the developer prepaid for public infrastructure. This is infrastructure that's now, like the sewer pump station was built by the developer. That's now an asset of the town of Cheshire. The town of Cheshire didn't have to pay for that out of pocket. But what we do is through the incremented value on those properties, the revenue in that district is paying back the developer for those now public improvements. So it's not for private improvements, it's not for private properties or the apartments themselves, it's for the infrastructure, the public infrastructure that serves those. So rather than the town fronting that money and building it, the developer fronted the money and is being repaid.
I don't know, I remember about 30 years ago when I say, they were always talking about doing that area, and it always came over here, and it would never, well, never went to referendum, I guess, that put all that stuff in. Why did the town do that when they refused to do it?
When who refused to do it?
The town never, this is not the first time about doing construction work down North End, putting sewage in their 691 and all that stuff. Not the first time it came up in the town council, I don't believe. It never came up before?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, the TIF district was established for exactly the purpose that it's being utilized for, to put that public infrastructure into the north end. So without that, there would be no development and you would never see a revenue from that property.
Well, I don't know if I'll last that long, but I don't, 800 hours a year, and next year going up more, I don't know if I'm going to get advantage of it, or any older people are going to get advantage of it. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Joy Vanderlack, 160 Brook Lane. I came here tonight because I want to talk about beekeeping at Boulder Knoll. There's a couple of reasons why I think it important to bring up the topic of not renewing the lease there. But the first and foremost one is the environmental reasons, and that's what I want to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time. But I am here to ask that the town not renew the lease for the beehives at Boulder Knoll, and the reasons why. It's not because I have anything against the beekeeper. He's a nice guy. I like honey. However, I want the town council and the public to become aware of studies that show the detrimental effects of beekeeping to our native bees and ecosystems. There's been many studies. However, a brand new Washington Post article published last week explains it perfectly, and that sort of gave me the push to come here tonight. Honeybees, the title said, never have been in trouble. The movement to save the bees, begun back in 2006, was based on a fallacy. We were saving, and we are saving, the wrong bees. In fact, it is native bees that are in trouble. So we're talking about bumblebees and sweat bees and many others. Moreover, the explosion of suburban and urban beekeeping has been harmful to native bee populations. Honeybees are not native. They were introduced by Europeans. They're farmed and managed as livestock, just like cattle. Native bees are the original pollinators, and native bees are the better pollinators for agriculture. For instance, bumblebees have buzz pollination. They're physically better equipped to pollinate vegetables. The American bumblebee was the major pollinator, but has declined 90% in the past 20 years. Viruses, insecticides, habitat loss all contribute to the decline. Honeybees, though, are certainly part of the problem. Bee specialist Ty Ralston at the University of Virginia conducted large-scale studies which showed virus levels in bumblebees and solitary bees correlate to the virus levels in honeybees. So there is a real issue of transmission. The disease found in native bees are the same ones that are found in honeybees. Scientists are finding honeybees can accelerate the demise of bumblebees and other native bees by 1, spreading disease, 2, outcompeting native bees for pollen and nectar, and 3, helping to promote non-native plants at the expense of native plants that the native bees need. That reduces floral biodiversity, and that is a disadvantage for the natives. So we now have a record high 3.8 million honeybee colonies in the US. That is up 25% in the past 5 years. Many native bees are specialists. They feed on one genus of plant. And when honeybees are abundant, the native bees retreat to feeding on less beneficial plants, and that results in a steep decline in their numbers. Eugene Makovic is editor of the American Bee Journal, and he said, if you are in this to save bees, there are better things you can do. Xerces Society says, having hives does not help native bees, and it does not help honeybees. Xerces suggests that beekeepers restore, that means plant, 1 acre of habitat for each hive they maintain. That should be enough to sustain the 40,000 insects living in a typical hive without starving the native bees. Studies have suggested that honeybees become problematic at 3 or 3.5 hives per square kilometer, and Boulder Knoll, just that one section of the 2 farms or 3 farms, is about 150 acres. So that's, even if you allow farming there, which beekeeping is allowed within the original papers for the transfer of the property or the buying the property, I also don't think it's a good idea to have it there because I miss it. I miss not having that space to walk on like we used to. And with that there, because of the hives, you can't go anywhere near the top anymore. So 2 reasons. One is the environmental, and one is for the open space for people to enjoy. So I ask that you would consider that and perhaps lean a little bit towards the environment. Questions? Yes. And by the way, all of this information, just paraphrased from that Washington Post article, not my own. I'm not the scientist.
So thank you for all that information. I've learned a lot right now. Yep. Just a question, have you talked with, I'm not even sure myself in terms of the lease. This is an amendment with the lease with Boulder Knoll Farm, is that correct?
I believe it would be with the town because it's open space.
Okay. So it's
Boulder Knoll Farm is also leasing space, that one acre or whatever it is from
So
the
those
town.
are two separate leases
Two separate
that we
entities,
have
yes.
with these
But
two
Bill, you know,
organizations.
but Bill is, you know, making his hives there so nobody else can get there, and then also, you know, selling it for profit, which is kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
That was my question there, in terms of if there was a relation.
Thank you for that information. That's all news to me, too.
Thank you.
We do have that on our agenda tonight, and I think when it comes time to that, I think I would like to ask that we postpone it a month and do a little more investigation into this before we, just because I think Joy brought up some very good points here, and, yeah, I don't want to
No, thank you for
just.
listening, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just don't want to push it off without doing our own research on it, and it's not like it's bringing us a ton of money here either, but I want to make sure that, you know, we're taking care of the environment and the property as well. So I'm going to ask that we do push that off, so.
And if I may, can I leave you my notes, but also the Washington Post article?
Leave it with the clerk, and she can make sure that all of us gets it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a
Thank you
quick-
very much.
Quick question.
Yeah, Ms. Kramer.
Thank you, Chairman. What happens to the bees if we don't renew the lease?
Say it again?
What happens to the existing colonies and hives and bees if we don't renew the lease?
He can relocate at a different area, preferably a private spot, or, you know, I know that there are bees at the other farm, it's escaping me right now. The one that just was taken up by the land trust farmers. No, that other place where the
Hick-
couple had it for a while.
Hickory? What is it?
Bishop,
Bishop,
sorry.
Old Bishop.
Yes.
And-
So relocating bees is not a big deal, but they should be in a better place. And I will add, if you don't mind, that one of the problems with all these people in town, and I know quite a few of them that are raising bees, they're on my street as well, they're not planting for their livestock. They just sort of, here we are, and we have 20 boxes of bees, but we're just going to let them go out and fetch for themselves. So
So
that's
if-
an issue.
If he can't relocate them, what happens to those hives?
That is something that I don't think would be a problem, because there's so much land around here yet that would take them. And like I said, they're already on my street. We have them from the Cheshire Pollinator Pathway at Lock 12. We have people that come by and have bees right around the corner, so they're all over. I don't think that's a real concern.
All set?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
And that might be something you want to ask Bill.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vanderleck. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of minutes, the minutes of January 27th, 2026. I'll call for a motion. Thank you, Mr. Jinks. Second. Mr. Velaber, thank you. All those, any corrections, omissions, deletions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, motion passes unanimously. So make it 8-0-1, one abstention, Ms. Kramer. Moving on to item 5, the consent calendar for February 10th. Ms. Pearson.
Be it resolved that the Town Council approves Resolution Number 021026-1. Be it resolved that the Town Council approves the consent calendar for January 13th, 2026 as follows.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to page 2. No items removed from the consent calendar, no old business, which brings us to new business. And we start with 3 calls for public hearing. The first is a call for a public hearing on amendments to ordinance section 1332, regulation of peddlers and solicitors. Mr. Tedisco, please. Yeah. Do it through the agenda, I think is faster. There we go. Hit the, yeah, just hit your mic too. There you go.
Be it resolved that the town council approves resolution number 021026-2. Be it resolved that the town council will hold a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, in council chambers, Town Hall, 84 South Main Street, Cheshire, Connecticut, to consider the adoption of amendments to the Section 13-32 regulation of peddlers and solicitors ordinance as follows. And I should read this all? Okay. Section 13 dash,
You don't have to, you
Okay.
don't have to read all that.
Okay.
Because it's strictly the call for a public hearing, so.
fair enough.
What you've done is
Good enough.
suffice, will suffice.
Second?
So we have a motion from Mr. Tedisco and a second from Ms. Pearson. Again, this is just a call for a public hearing, so I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Which moves us on to item B, which is a call for a public hearing on amendments to ordinance section 16-6, one of our favorites, the dreaded fats, oils, and grease, the fog management. Mr. Tedisco, back to you.
Hold on, I'll get it for him.
Okay.
Fats, oils, and greases.
thank you. Be it resolved that the town council approves resolution number 021026-3. Be it resolved that the town council will hold a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, in council chambers, Town Hall, 84 South Main Street, Cheshire, Connecticut, to consider amendments to the section 16-6 fats, oil, and grease, FOG, management ordinance as follows. And it's stated.
Thank you, Mr. Tedisco. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. This is the public hearing on the fog ordinance. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. And the third is the call for a public hearing for March 12th, although the agenda says March 12th. The resolution will say March 11th, which is the amended date. For fiscal year 26-27, general operating budget, Water Pollution Control Department Fund operating budget, and Community Pool Fund operating budget. Ms. Pearson.
Be it resolved that the town council approves resolution number 021026-4. Be it resolved that the town council will hold a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, in council chambers, Town Hall, 84 South Main Street, Cheshire, Connecticut, to consider the proposed general fund operating budget for fiscal year 2026-2027, the proposed Water Pollution Control Department Fund operating budget for fiscal year 2026-2027, and the Community Pool Fund operating budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. And be it further resolved that the town manager shall cause a notice of said public hearing to be posted and published according to law. And be it further resolved that the date, time, and place, or any further postponements thereof, shall be determined by the town manager with the approval of the chair of the council.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Again, this is the public hearing for the budget. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. On to item
Chairman?
D, which is the authorization to hire a part-time,
Just
I'm
quick-
sorry.
Just quick point of order on the last two motions. I know that on the calls, on this last call, it included those last two paragraphs about authorizing the town manager to call the public hearing. The original motions for the two calls for the two ordinance reviews only included the top paragraph. I just realized that they didn't include the two bottom
the
paragraphs.
bottom section.
Do we need those as part of the motion?
No, I mean, we have,
We're calling, yeah.
we have a requirement that's in our ordinance, so we'll call it in accordance with our ordinance.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to, because we skipped those two paragraphs
Yes.
in those two motions, so I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure if that had to be added back in.
Thank you, appreciate it, Mr. Velibert. Okay, back to authorization to hire a part-time fire inspector. Item D, Ms. Mankey.
Actually, I think it's full-time. I know it says part-time there, but it's full-time, right? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Be it resolved that the town council approves resolution number 021026-5. Be it resolved that the town council hereby approves the hiring of a full-time fire inspector and authorizes the budget allocation for said position as presented.
Thank you, Ms. Menke. Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Chief Kasner or Mr. Kimball, do you want to?
can
I
lead
know
it
I
off. do-
probably scared Jack by
Yeah.
saying part-time at the beginning. He
That's
was
why he
wondering.
Yeah, I'll just start, and then Chief Kasner can fill in if there's anything else to add. But this was reviewed by the Budget Committee prior to this meeting. What we are looking to do is, with the impending retirement of Don Youngquist, our Deputy Fire Marshal, he at the end of June, we have an opportunity to appoint somebody into a fire inspector position sooner in order to get them enrolled in the class that's only offered, I think, every 18 months or 24 months, and get them certified. This would be a slight increase to this year's budget, as you'll see in the agenda submission form, of about $21,000 while they're both on payroll, so to speak. But that is then recouped next year as you cross into the next fiscal year over and above that amount because of the lower pay rate for the fire inspector, and obviously starting at step one. We have a great candidate that's gone through the process and is ready to be appointed pending council approval here, and also able to start that class, I believe, on February 18th if we're ready to move. So we appreciate the council's flexibility on this, but this is one of those kind of cross fiscal year situations that will end up being actually a net partial savings, but most importantly, get us a great individual, great candidate into this position, available for the fire courses that he will be taking, also available to be responding to fires while he's here and on our payroll as well as a firefighter. So as we discussed at the Budget Committee just before, I think this is a win-win, and we'd look for the council's support. Anything I left off, either Mike or Jack? No? Good. All right. There we go.
Questions, comments? Mr. Walsh?
Yeah, thank you, and I think it's a good move on the department's part, because, you know, we want to make sure that we do have the fire inspector in place when Don retires. He's been with us for a long time, so it's big shoes to fill, and he'll never fill them probably. But I know Chief Kasner during their budget meeting did say, though, with the increased fees that they're getting with the fire inspections, over $200,000, I think, this past year, you know, that more than pays for this position. So it's pretty much of a no-brainer to get him in the class, get him all the requirements that he needs. So I fully support this position.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Mr. Velaber?
Thank you, and obviously, and it sounds like the Budget Committee's had some good discussions on this already, so I appreciate that. Just for my own clarification, so this individual needs to go through a certain amount of training for for this position, and so they have to be hired in order for them to go through this training? Is that so? They have to be they have to be sort of on the
I'll
payroll
let our
to be.
Fire Marshal Mike Kozlowski answer that question for us.
Yes, he could go through the classes unaffiliated. He has already done that for the main part of the courses that he needs to be a fire marshal. He is a driver of the fire apparatus. He is a firefighter certified, so he can take those parts of the roles immediately. He cannot do investigations of fires yet, but we can have him out doing code work, and we want him shadowing as soon as possible to try to get, especially our federal reporting that our retiree is going to does most of, and we're going to train 2 different people to make sure we have continuity on that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll echo the comments of my colleagues and say that I will absolutely support this as well. I think it's the right thing to do, and to have him get the complete certifications and bring him on early. And as Mr. Walsh mentioned, there is certainly funding from the fire inspections that, the level of fire inspections that we're currently doing, which will support this budget-wise. So with that, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Move to item E, which is the approval of hearing officer agreement. Mr. Wolf?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Be it resolved that the Town Council approves Resolution Number 021026-6. Be it resolved that the Town Council approves the reappointment of Bruce W. Diamond as hearing officer for the term April 1, 2026 through March 31st, 2027, and further approves and authorizes the town manager to execute the agreement for said appointment per the terms and conditions as presented and attached.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Thank you, Ms. Pearson. For the hearing officer, Mr. Kimball?
Sure. So this has been again, contracted relationship here with Bruce Diamond as our hearing officer for many years. This is an annual reappointment. It's been I think, process that has served the town very well. The hearing officer can hear appeals with respect to parking, towing, inland wetlands, alarm fines, fair housing, and now also blight prevention appeals, should they take place. And per the contract, it's basically a $300 per month kind of flat fee regardless of the number, but no increase if there are an increased number of hearings as well. So this has been the same arrangement. There's no increase in the cost that we've had for at least the 8 years that I've been here. So.
Questions or comments? I agree, Mr. Velleber. That's a comment that doesn't need to even be spoken.
No, I was
Mr. Walsh?
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, 8 years is a long time to not. I'm sure Mr. D'Onofrio would like that deal too, right? No, I think I know Bruce does a good job, and I fully support this, and I appreciate the work he does.
Anything else from colleagues? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, motion passes unanimously. And thank you, Mr. Diamond. Item F, before I call for Ms. Pearson to read the motion, just by way of clarification, Mr. Kimball, is there anything time-sensitive with this that we couldn't wait until the March meeting?
Yeah, no, the current agreement, I believe, is through, let me just double check, May 31st. So you have a couple of months
Okay.
To make a decision, so you can certainly table it.
All right, so I'll turn it over to Ms. Pearson. We'll get a second, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Walsh.
Be it resolved that the Town Council approves Resolution Number 021026-7. Be it resolved that the Town Council approves the first lease amendment for a 2-year term with the Connecticut Beekeepers Association Incorporated of 49 Old Sherman Hill Road, Woodbury, Connecticut, for Parcel B at 866 Boulder Road as presented. And be it further resolved, the Town Council authorizes Town Manager Sean M. Kimball to execute this lease amendment pursuant to the terms and conditions as presented and approved by the Town Attorney as to form and function.
We have a motion. We have a second motion from Ms. Pearson, second from Mr. Jenks.
I'd like
Mr. Walsh.
to make a motion that we table this and perhaps ask town staff or maybe our environmental committee to look into this matter and please give us some background information on it, and then we could make a educated decision on this.
Second?
So we have a motion to table and a second from Ms. Pearson. Any discussion? I'll call for a vote on the motion to table. All those in favor of tabling, motion passes unanimously. The item is tabled. Moves us to item G, which is the amendment and reinstatement of town pension plan document. Mr. Jinks.
Be it resolved, the Town Council approves resolution number 021026-8,
Whereas the town of Cheshire sponsors the retirement plan for the employees of the town of Cheshire, originally effective January 1st, 1988. And whereas Code of Ordinances, Section 2-131E provides that the town council may adopt and amend retirement plans at any time. And whereas pursuant to Part 4, Article 5.1 of the town retirement plan, the town is authorized to amend the town retirement plan by action of its town council. And whereas the town wishes to amend and restate the town retirement plan effective July 1st, 2025, to reflect the applicable provisions of the town of Cheshire's personnel rules and regulations and the collective bargaining agreements in effect between the town of Cheshire and the town of Cheshire Board of Education and the unions representing their respective employees who are members of the town retirement plan. Now therefore be it hereby resolved, the town council hereby approves and adopts the July 1st, 2025 amended and restated town retirement plan in substantially the form attached hereto, and further resolved, the town manager be and he hereby is authorized, empowered, and directed to execute and deliver on behalf of the town the July 1st, 2025 amended and restated town retirement plan in substantially the form attached hereto, with all changes as the town manager shall approve as being in the best interest of the town, his execution and delivery thereof to be conclusive evidence of such approval, and to take any and all such additional actions as he deems necessary or appropriate in order to implement the same.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Jinks. Thank you, Ms. Pearson. I see that Director Jascott is here to give us the background on this, so.
Yeah, so that rather lengthy resolution, I did think summed up everything pretty well. This is really just to get the plan document up to speed with collective bargaining agreements over the last 12 years or so. There's one big change in that first off, our pension plan document consists of not only the town of Cheshire pension plan, which includes both the town and Board of Education employees, other than teachers, generally speaking, and it also includes the police plan. So that one document is for all those different plans. And so all our various union groups from time to time have made some minor changes. Keep in mind, these plans were closed to new hires over the years. We haven't had anybody going into these plans for quite some time. But we did add a new tier recently for the police officers that was approved in September with their most recent collective bargaining agreement. So this document is really just getting it up to speed with that new tier, and to make sure it's clear, what the benefits are for the people that were in the old tier versus the new tier, and anything in between that, because some of the benefits had gotten ratcheted down over the years for certain groups. So I don't know if anybody has any specific questions, but this is really just to true up the document in accordance with what's already been approved in collective bargaining or personnel rules.
Mr. Velber.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Jessica, because I think that was what I would, one my question was going to be, as I looked through it, I know your eagle eyes have looked at this closely, but my question ultimately would have been, and what sounds like what you just answered, is that this is just a consolidation of things we've already agreed to, and so there's nothing in here that we're adding to those plans, essentially. This is essentially everything we've already agreed to and just consolidating it in one up-to-date document.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you want to make sure your plan document from time to time is updated to agree what you've already agreed upon, and that's what this is essentially doing.
Anything that hasn't already been agreed to.
Anyone else? Mr. Jinks.
I just want to say, I appreciate that the old language was crossed out in red and the new stuff was in blue. It was much easier to read
Yeah.
that way.
I know there's a lot there.
Yes. Seeing nothing else, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Jascott. Appreciate it. Item H is the authorization for the Human Services Department to apply for a DOT grant for a new senior center minibus. Ms. Kramer.
Be it resolved that the Town Council approves Resolution 021026-9. Be it resolved that the Town Council hereby authorizes the application for CD Department of Transportation Section 5310 grant in the amount of $113,600 to fund the replacement of an aging minibus at the senior center. And be it resolved that the town council further authorizes a 20% municipal match in the amount of $28,400. And be it further resolved that the town council authorizes the town manager, Sean M. Kimball, to execute any and all necessary documents associated with said grant.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Thank you, Mr. Veliber, for the second. Discussion, Mr. Kimball.
Sure. So we also discussed this at Budget Committee before tonight's meeting. As was indicated in the resolution, this is a grant application for $113,600 to fund the purchase of a senior center minibus, the total cost of which is $142,000. So again, 80% would be covered by Connecticut DOT. This is a program Cheshire has taken advantage of over the past years as these opportunities present themselves. And this will keep our fleet of ever-popular senior center minibuses as modern as possible. And this is something that, again, very successful and very popular program. And so we'd look for your support. Again, this is just an authorization to apply. You would be then accepting it should we prove successful, which we anticipate being once we hear back from the state.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball. Questions, Mr. Veliber?
Thank you. Mr. Kimball, I can't remember, how many of these minibuses do we have now? And do you know and this is replacing one, so we're going to keep the same number that we have, correct?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. I think we have 4 currently. So I'd defer. Unfortunately, Michelle Piccarello had that event over at the library for the
Jane Doe No More.
For the Jane Doe No More program tonight. So she couldn't attend tonight. So I don't have that. I can follow up and get you that information though. If it's
I was just good, but that's been it's been a very successful and well-used program, and so I definitely will support that. And I also think and maybe Michelle may know the answer, but I think last year, 2 years ago, we bought a more of a minivan, like something smaller, and I wanted to, I think that was also a successful thing. So I think this program of having these minibuses and minivans available through the senior center has been very successful. So I think this is a great idea. Thank you.
Anyone else? Comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Moves us to item I, the authorization to apply for the Connecticut State Library's 2027 Historic Documents Preservation Grant in the amount of $6,000 for records, conservation, and preservation. Ms. Kramer.
Be it resolved that the town council approves resolution 021026-10. Be it resolved that the town council hereby authorizes application for and acceptance and appropriation of the 2027 Historic Documents Preservation Grant in the amount of $6,000 from the Connecticut State Library for records, conservation, and preservation. And be it further resolved that the town council authorizes town manager Sean M. Kimball to execute any and all agreements and documents necessary for said grant.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Mr. Kimball, back to you for the application.
Sure. So again, this is another program we've participated in annually since 2002. So for the past 24 years, Cheshire is eligible for the $6,000 grant based on the size of our town. The town clerk is looking to use these funds for microfilming, printing on archival paper, and binding 14 land record books. And to supplement, she has another $500 from the town clerk's special revenue fund, or the special town clerk fund, for the $500 to complete the $6,500 that she needs for the project as outlined in the packet. And I think that covers it. Look for your support.
Questions, discussion, comments? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all. Brings us to item 9, the town manager's report. Mr. Kimball, back to you.
Sure, thank you. So actually, this month is a little bit of a different town manager's report. We'll be kind of shifting this going forward. We are happy to announce that earlier today at noon, we released our first newsletter, the Cheshire Town Square. Here's a copy of said Town Square. If you haven't signed up, please do so to subscribe. It will cover a lot of the things that you're used to hearing in the town manager's report, and we're also kind of translating some of the subscribers to the town manager's report over now to the newsletter as well, because it does highlight a lot of the good things happening both recently over the past month and to look forward to in the next month, as the town manager report has done in the past. And so rather than duplicate, we're going to kind of merge them into one report and document. So this month's, again, kickoff and credit to Savannah Blance Maria in our office, who is our coordinator of grants and community engagement. She's been the driving force behind getting this all set up and getting our first issue out. And also credit to our department heads, including Chief Jortner here, who made a contribution into the materials with the Chief's Corner this month in our town square. So a few items in the community events section happening right now. We have the Empowering Adults to Keep Kids Safe, actually would have just concluded, but earlier today, trying to get people to register for that very important program that was held at 6 o'clock earlier this evening. Also, Take Your Child to Library Day on February 28th, and also some art displays from Cheshire High School students coming up to look forward to in the month. A reminder that Cheshire Parks and Recreation has launched summer camp registration information. Very important this year because the summer is a little bit longer with the alternated school schedule that we'll have. The students won't be going back until after Labor Day, so we know parents are going to be looking for some childcare opportunities. And I just had my budget meeting with our recreation director as we're looking at offering some extended camps this summer to make sure we have that availability for families. There's some updates. Chespercott was kind enough to give us some of their upcoming events, including an event on February 23rd, taking care of your heart health with Hartford Healthcare at the Cheshire Senior Center. And also, as you heard Kate mention before, we have radon kits available for folks to pick up, so please consider doing that as well. There's a wonderful section in our civic corner of the square, get it, square corner, Meet Your Town Council. We have all of you, thank you for contributing your brief bios and introducing our town council members, or reintroducing to the community and highlighting you folks, and also some links to our meeting videos and also our past and upcoming agendas. Just a reminder, Town Hall is closed on this coming February 16th for President's Day. Also that this month there will not be any electronic and mattress recycling. This is typically a light event anyway this time of year, but I think with also the weather and our wonderful public works employees, but they've been working overtime, as you can imagine, with the snow and weather we've had recently. There will not be an electronics and recycling event this month. And I think other than that, I won't kind of read through all of them. There's a lot of great information in there. We have a projects corner that highlights some of the upcoming exciting improvements we have to Mixville Park, including a bid opening scheduled for February 19th for some of those improvements, and also an update on the Regional Water Authority's plans and the repaving of the road there by Mixville on Mixville Road. A nice feature from our town clerk's office explaining a lot of the very busy work that they're doing this time of year. And then again, as I referenced before, a nice update from the last couple of months from our police chief, Fred Jortner, on the various activities and new hires and promotions that we've had in the Cheshire Police Department. So a lot of wonderful things happening. I hope this is successful. We have a lot of ideas for some new features and new corners going forward, so stay tuned for kind of an evolution of this. I know it's been a priority of the council, and I think it's something we're really excited to embark on. And again, we don't have a full staff. This is a part-time, only a small piece of one person's position that's really driving this, and a lot of our department heads pitching in. So we don't have a full editorial staff or anything, so we try to manage some expectations. But we really see the value in this, and I think we all can share and attest to the fact that this kind of information is harder and harder to find in our community these days. We used to be able to rely on a lot of local news coverage weekly, and that is going to be hard to replicate, but we're going to do our best, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kimball. Questions for Sean? Ms. Pearson?
Not a question, just a comment. I received this in my email this morning, or the text, and so it was a pleasure to read and look forward to reading future editions. And I know I was able to attend P&Z's town hall last night, and that was a comment that was brought up during the town hall, the public hearing rather, that it's difficult to find information about public hearings and our meetings and goings-ons, and I put in a promo for your town square and told folks to sign up, and that we hope to see more folks at our public hearings and we see more community involvement. So this is a step in a good direction, so we appreciate all the work put forth.
Anything else from colleagues? Seeing none, the department status reports for police, fire, and economic development are in your packets, which moves us to reports of committees of the council, chair's report, and I actually have a chair's report this evening. In January, 2 American citizens were killed in Minnesota in 2 separate incidents by immigration and customs enforcement officers while exercising their First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and peaceful assembly. Like millions of Americans, I was shocked and appalled by what I saw. I also had received questions from residents, so I started by reaching out to Chief Jortner and asked what the Cheshire Police Department's policies and procedures were in the event ICE came to Cheshire. Let me pause here for a moment and reassure everyone that there is no information we have received that leads us to believe that ICE coming to Cheshire is either imminent or possible at any time soon. The chief provided the council with the department's policies along with a well-written memo that gave us some peace of mind. Additionally, I received a letter from Chris Matty, a former federal prosecutor who currently works for the American Civil Liberties Union. In his open letter to the people of Connecticut, he outlines a citizen's rights granted to each of us under the Constitution. I'm going to read those now, but I'm happy to provide them in writing if someone is interested. Your right to be present in public spaces. You have a fundamental right to be present on public sidewalks, in parks, and in other public areas. ICE agents cannot lawfully remove you from public property or order you to disperse unless you are obstructing their operations, interfering with an arrest in progress, or violating other applicable laws. Standing peacefully, even near an ICE operation, is constitutionally protected activity. Your right to observe and record. The First Amendment protects your right to observe and record law enforcement officers, including ICE agents, when they are performing their duties in public spaces. You may use your cell phone or other recording device to document ICE operations, providing that you, 1, maintain a reasonable distance that does not physically interfere with officers' actions, 2, do not obstruct officers in the performance of their duties, 3, remain on public property or property where you have permission to be. Officers may not lawfully confiscate your phone or demand that you delete footage solely because you recorded their activities. If an officer orders you to stop recording, you may respectfully ask whether you are being detained and on what legal basis the order is given. Your right to communicate and warn others. The First Amendment also protects your right to communicate with others about the presence of ICE agents in our community. You may alert neighbors, friends, or community members that ICE agents are conducting operations in an area. You may share information on social media or through community alert systems, and you may post signs or warnings on your own property. However, you may not physically interfere with an arrest in progress, encourage others to do so, or facilitate another's flight from arrest, as this may constitute obstruction of justice. Your right to remain silent. You have the constitutional right to remain silent when questioned by any law enforcement officer, including ICE agents. You are not required to answer questions about your immigration status, country of origin, or how you entered the United States. You may clearly state, "I am exercising my right to remain silent and do not wish to answer questions." Identification requirements. In your home, you are not required to open your door to ICE agents unless they present a judicial warrant signed by a judge. An administrative warrant, Form I-200 or I-205, signed only by an ICE official, does not grant authority to enter your home without your consent. You may ask agents to slide the warrant under the door or hold it up to a window for inspection. If you do not see a judge's signature, you are within your rights to refuse entry. On public sidewalks or in public spaces, Connecticut law does not require you to carry or present identification documents unless you are operating a motor vehicle. While ICE agents may ask for identification, you generally have no legal obligation to provide it in public spaces. During a traffic stop, if you are driving, you must present a valid driver's license and vehicle registration. However, you retain your right to remain silent regarding other questions. Respectful but firm assertion of rights. You have every right to assert these constitutional protections firmly while remaining calm and respectful. You need not be rude or confrontational, but you also need not surrender the rights out of fear or intimidation. If you are detained, if ICE agents detain you, you may clearly state that you wish to exercise your right to remain silent and your right to speak with an attorney. You are not required to sign any documents without consulting with a lawyer first. You have the right to make a phone call. Based on, again, what had happened in January, I think it was important to have people understand exactly what their rights are, whether it be in Cheshire or whether you're outside of Cheshire. But I think it's all important that we understand, fully understand, what our constitutional rights are. And with that, I'll continue with chairman's reports, starting to my left with Ms. Kramer.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Wolf, Ms. Pearson.
Just letting Budget Committee know and the entire Town Council know that we're finalizing the budget schedule for the upcoming month, so dates will be forthcoming soon.
Mr. Jinks, Ms. Menke,
No report.
and Mr. Tedisco.
Yes, we had an ordinance committee meeting, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Sorry, got it. And brought two ordinances forth tonight for public hearing. We also discussed in some detail the demolition delay ordinance, and that, we're going to have another meeting to discuss that again. I think we made some progress, but nothing's been finalized on that yet. I also attended till like, probably 10:30 or 11 o'clock last night, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. In my past life, I'd been at a lot of late Planning and Zoning Commission meetings, and it was kind of like going home again, so to speak. It was a good meeting. An awful lot of different things were discussed. I'm the liaison. And there is a Public Safety Commission meeting this Thursday night that I will be attending because I'm the liaison to that. And I guess we also have an Ordinance Committee meeting on February 18th. So we'll be together then. That's all. Thank you.
You're a busy gentleman, Mr. Tedisco. I have two referrals, the referral of ordinance section 2.8 fee schedule to the ordinance review committee, so that will be on your docket, Mr. Tedisco, for their review and recommendation, as well as the referral of possible new ordinance reissuing fines for snow in the road. So more to come on those. Moving on to liaisons reports, I'll start again to my left, Ms. Kramer.
Liaison to Environment Committee, busy committee. Plan of Conservation and Development comes up. Do you want to speak? Is she allowed to speak as part of the report?
It really isn't, I mean, you had the opportunity during public communications. I'll allow you 2 minutes.
Karen Schnitzer, 18 Courier Place. This will be very brief. I didn't expect to speak. The 5 of the members of the Environment Commission attended the hearing for the Plan of Conservation and Development. We thought it was lacking for various reasons. So we did speak to what we thought was missing, what we thought should be added. And so the conclusion was that the Planning and Zoning Commission will keep the hearing open and take into consideration our ideas and goals and thoughts, as well as those of the public. Other people did speak. I found that different people and groups echoed each other's concerns, so it seemed rather like we all were in agreement of certain things needing to be added. And so we're very pleased with that outcome. We thought the commission was very polite and listened carefully to what we had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Good, Ms. Kramer?
Good, thank you.
Mr. Wolf?
Just briefly, more information to come, but just a date heads up. March 15th, the Performing and Fine Arts Commission will be holding their Arts Day. It's something that they're bringing back after a little bit of a lag. I'll have a lot more detail in our next liaison report in March.
Give me the date again, Mr. Wolf.
March 15th, it's a Sunday.
Excellent.
And it'll be at the Youth Center.
Thank you. Ms. Pearson?
I was unable to attend the last Parks and Rec meeting, but I did run into Elizabeth Main at the Whole Foods opening this last week, and she did say that highlight of the meeting was that they released the Bartlett Beat survey results, and the primary finding is that people want more concerts in the town of Cheshire, so they will be coming before us in the future to ask for more funding for more concerts, because that's what the people want, that's what the survey says.
Please accept this as a lobbying effort on my part for a Steely Dan tribute band.
I will say, yes, classic rock, hard rock was most popular, but there were people who were looking for more diverse choices in music as well.
Mr. Jinks?
No report.
Ms. Menke?
No reports.
Mr. Tedisco, anything further? You kind of combined yours, but that's okay. Mr. Walsh?
The Cheshire Housing Authority met, if you go down by Jack's Farm, you see the land all cleared out, covered with snow. I think they're hoping to start the building once some of the snow, we get rid of some of the snow. They're still working on solar panels for Beachport. They hope to be going before planning and zoning for that pretty soon. Town Beautification Committee spent a good amount of time talking about what kind of plants they want to put out at Bartlett and around town for the semi-quincentennial celebration. Very nice. I've been practicing that one. Thank you. Then they do have some other thoughts on some of the plantings that are going on at Bartlett and around town. As well as watering of the plants, because when we put them in those barrels, they need to be watered, especially in the hot summer days. So you have to figure out who's going to water them, how they're going to water them, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week in order to keep those flowers looking nice there. But they're a very vibrant group, and I know Mr. Jinks probably could attest to that. They really think through everything, and they all have their ideas and thoughts, and I do enjoy going to those meetings because they do spend a lot of time making sure that this town looks beautiful, and and I think they're doing a good job with that. And tomorrow will be my first retirement committee meeting, so I'll get to see what that's all about. I'm looking forward to Mr. Jascott. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Veliber. Hey, you're just saving up your breath for what's about to come, right? There's nothing for miscellaneous. Item 11 is appointments, and Mr. Veliber, if you want to run down yours, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I have 8. This is in a renomination of William Bonaminio to the Beautification Committee for a term from present until 1/31/2028. He is a Republican. The appointment of Jessica Fustel to also renomination to the Beautification Committee for an appointment from present until 1/31/2028. She is also a Republican. The renomination of David Borowey to the Economic Development Commission from present to 1/31/2030. He is Republican. The renomination of Michael Ceccarulli to the Economic Development Commission, present until 1/31/2030, Republican. The renomination of Ryan O'Grady to the Energy Commission, present to 1/31/2030, Republican. David Schrum, renomination to the Environment Commission, present to 1/31/2030. Suzanne Duffy, renomination to the Library Board, term present to 1/31/2030. She's Republican. The renomination of Don Naito to the Public Building Commission from present to 1/31/2030, Republican. The renomination of Mark Izzo to the Retirement Board for term of present to 1/31/2030, Republican. And the renomination of John Parati III to the Water Pollution Control Authority, present to 1/31/2029, Republican. The renomination of Melissa Norback to the Water Pollution Control Authority, present to 1/31/2029. She's unaffiliated. And the appointment of renomination of Philip Belcher to the Youth and Human Services Committee, term of office present to 1/31/2028, Republican. And finally, the renomination of Susan Pappas to the Youth and Human Services Committee, present to 1/31/2028, Republican.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Veliber, and we have a second, and now I'll have Mr. Wolf do his.
Probably got a lot more.
There was, you had 13, so
Oh.
that's pretty good. And I think if I counted correctly, Mr. Wolf has 19. so-
Buckle up, everybody.
Yeah, strap in.
Okay, first is Cynthia Braga to the Beautification Committee as a renomination. She's a Democrat. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/28. She's a Democrat, I mentioned. Elizabeth Marin to the Beautification Committee. She's a renomination. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/28. She's a Democrat. Mandy Miller to the Economic Development Commission. She's a new appointment, replacing the term, or following the term of Douglas Johnson. The term is 2/10/26 to 13130. Marge Chapman to the Energy Commission. She's a new appointment following Walt Gajewski. The term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. She's a Democrat. Karen Schnitzer to the Environment Commission, renomination, 2/10/26, 1/31/30. She's a Democrat. Marion Hourigan to the Historic District Commission, a new appointment replacing the term of, or following the term of George Polish. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/31. She's a Democrat. Tony Falcone to the Historic District as an alternate. The new appointment following the term of Kevin Daly, 2/10/26 to 1/31/31. He's a Democrat. Tim Sullivan to the Environment Commission is a new appointment following the term of Albert Buell. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. He's a Democrat. Harold Kramer to the Library Board is a renomination. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. He's a Democrat. John Nan to the Library Board is a new appointment following the term of Jennifer Johnson. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. He's a Democrat. Myred Duffy, I apologize if that's incorrect. Mairead Duffy to the Library Board, it's a new appointment following the term of Kathy Nankin, 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. Paul Fracess. Fracas, apologies. To the Park and Rec Commission, it's a renomination. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. He's a Democrat. Aaron Muddy to the Park and Rec Commission, the new appointment following the term of Karen Bertoni. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/30. The Democrat. Ray Stewart to the Park and Rec Commission, new appointment following the term of Heather Fitzgerald. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/29. Democrat. Christina Endress to the Performing and Fine Arts Commission, the renomination, 2/10/26 to 1/31/29. Democrat. Denise Lohr to the Performing and Fine Arts Commission, renomination, term 2/10/26, 1/31/29. Democrat. Lynn Gannon, also to the Performing and Fine Arts Commission, is a new appointment following the term of Pat Matola. Term is 2/10/26 to 1/31/28. She's a Democrat. Sherry Steckloff to the Youth and Human Services Committee, renomination, 2/10/26, 1/31/28. Democrat. And the last one, Amy Russell to the Youth and Human Services Committee, new appointment following the term of Nancy DeFrancesco, term 2/10/26, 1/31/28. She is a Democrat.
Second.
Thank you both.
You're welcome.
32 appointments and reappointments to boards and commissions, and we thank all of them for their the service, and to the ones that were not appointed or reappointed either, that are continuing, whose terms have not come to expiry yet. So, and with that, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And again, thank you to all the individuals, this stack of papers. Item 12 is the town attorney's report. Mr. D'Onofrio.
No report in public session.
Council communications, letters to the council. I have one that I believe we received late today. That's when I got it, when it was sent by the clerk. It reads as follows. Hello, as a frequent patron of the library, I appreciate this asset to our town. Technology claims an even bigger role in our lives, yet some of us are not well versed in its use, particularly because of the ongoing rapid changes in the technology world. The staff at the reference desk at the Cheshire Public Library have been invaluable in helping me to navigate the, to me, mysterious labyrinth of technology. I love that term. I do sincerely hope that the Cheshire Town Council reinstates the Senior Library Associate position, a crucial service for those of us not born with a smartphone in our hands. And it's signed, thank you, Joanne Miller. And I believe all of us received that today, so I wanted to read that into the record, and I'll ask colleagues if they have anything.
Something about miscellaneous.
Sure. All right, let me get there. Anything else for letters? No. Miscellaneous is all yours, Mr.
I
Walsh.
just wanted to make note of a passing of John Parati Jr. A couple weeks ago. John served on this town council for several terms back in the 90s, I believe. If those of you who knew John, he was very well known in this town. His son, who serves as the water pollution committee, said at his funeral that, you know, he was the type of person that if you said hello to him, within 10 minutes he will know everything about you and your family, and he was always offering any kind of information you would ask for. He didn't care what party you were. He didn't care anything about that. All he cared about was this town. He grew up in this town. He raised his family in this town. His son's raising his family in this town, and I think I just didn't want this meeting to go past without mentioning his passing, because he did a lot for this community, and he will be well remembered. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Absolutely appropriate. The way I would describe John is he had one of those personalities that was larger than life. He just, when John was in a room, you knew it. And you're absolutely right. He dedicated himself to giving back to this community, and he will absolutely be missed. So thank you, Mr. Walsh, for remembering that. I know that you and I had spoken about it, but thank you. We have 2 items for executive session, pending litigation and land acquisition. I will call for a motion to go into executive session to include the town attorney, everyone at the dais, the assistant town manager, and we'll stop there. Okay. So I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Thank you, Mr. Jinks. We will not have anything to do when we come out, so we will just adjourn. So so that clears Mike to go home too. Well, we haven't come out of executive session yet, so. So with that, I'll call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. We are in executive session. Thank you very much.